reflecting back on it, what do you feel like the team did really well that you want to see them continue doing this week?
The best thing was turnover margin. We were +4 turnover margin. That was number one. Number two was the way we affected the passer. Finally got some pass rush. Thought that was huge. I mean, it's one thing to do it in practice, but when guys do it in a game, especially young guys, it really helps their confidence. And then I thought we played really good on special teams. So those are the two biggest things that I thought we did really, really well. I'd love to keep us moving forward. And obviously there's, things we've got to fix, but those things by far were the best.
So y'all are getting ready to face off against Lamar, kind of familiar opponent. Played them in the Southland Conference. So what is the game plan heading into?
Yeah, they're a very unique team. They've had a coaching change since the last time we played them. They're more of an spread option type of football team. So it definitely poses you challenge. We've got to play assignment football. Defensively is what we're doing. We got to know who's got the quarterback dive pitch. That's a big thing. And then defensively, you're going to see some carryover from SMU. The team we played last week, they base out of an odd front, do a lot of things out of it, like to blitz people. Very diverse in their coverages. So, our big thing is we've got to, obviously play well on the road and take care of the football. And when we get some opportunities, make the most of them.
That's all for me to know.
All right. In terms of the last game, right? So it felt like offense got off to a little bit of a slow start in the first half, but then the running game really got going and started sparking things. So what have you seen from your backs and your offensive line to help the run game get going?
Yeah, it's we're starting to see come to fruition what we hoped would with the offensive line. Those guys are guys that are, whether they're transfers or whether they're guys that have been on our program, haven't had a lot of playing experience. So it's kind of like the quarterback spot. You hope you see a lot of growth each and every week in them, and we saw that from them. Obviously, I think our backs are very excited about our backs. Dobbins practiced yesterday. He's ready to go. He'll be back Saturday. And so, we feel like we've got a really good stable of backs. We like to run them all. They're all a little bit different. We just got to continue to build on our run game. Yeah, we got off to a slow start. We've got to complete some more passes. Big thing for us on offensively is just third down. It's been our Achilles heel, and it's something we're working and talking a lot about, and try to be very specific on what we're doing on third down so our players know, and more importantly, who's touching the ball on third down.
Right. In terms of third down execution and Stone being out there doing his thing as well, what type of impact can the running backs have on Stone in those situations to make sure that you guys can convert on third down?
Hopefully a lot. The things that we're seeing with the analytics is, when it's third medium, we're good. When it's third and long, we're really bad, which that's pretty much every, college football, high school, pro football team. And so you got to go back and look at why we're getting into those third and longs. Obviously, a couple penalties involved in there, and then just being inefficient in the pass game when we do throw it in early downs. It doesn't always have to be a 12 or 15 or 20-yard completion. We got to check the ball down a little bit more in our play action stuff and let guys run after catch. And, when you're going to be a wide outside zone team, which we are, the bootleg off of that has got to be good, and it has been. We've just got to be a little bit more efficient and throwing the underneath stuff, and so we're not setting on third and longs.
All right, and to shift to Lamar. So obviously, someone you've seen a bit in the past. When you look at Lamar, is there something that just in film study that you feel like you guys can really capitalize on this time around that maybe, it could be an opportunity for a position group to really shine that maybe hasn't to this point, or someone to really step up against this next week?
Yeah, I think the thing for us, it's hard to answer because, defensively, you're not going into a game playing a team that's an option football team, hanging your hat on one position group. Everybody has to be very involved in stopping them. Offensively, it's not a secret. We're going to try to run the football, and we're going to come or go all year with the running backs and the offensive line. So, that's something we're hoping to build upon last week, is to be able to run the football again. I know I say it a lot, but I'm just really excited about where we're at with our special teams unit right now, the buy-in. We've got starters out there, guys that are executing at a really high level. And so we're spending a lot of time on special teams, and we're going to again this Saturday, and hopefully it can potentially create some extra positions and get us great field position.
Coach, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
How does the way that they run the option, how does it compare to what Army did?
Yeah, it's a lot different because most of what they do is out of the pistol. It's more of the spread option. It's not your traditional, flex bone, wishbone type triple option. But there's still a big chunk of what they're doing, you're going to see some type of motion with it, orbit motion. And from a coverage standpoint, guys have got to be cued in. We got to communicate because they could go from 3-by-1 to 2-by-2. They shift a lot. Guys coming across the formation, and it changes who has what in the responsibilities. So it's more of that spread option look, but it's still difficult. They're trying to dive, get off in the A gaps, the B gaps, and get 3 to 4 yards on early downs, and they really do a good job on 3rd and short, and they're 6 for 6 on the year on 4th down conversions, so they're not afraid to go for it on 4th down.
Does it help that some of your kids got a chance to see something like
Yeah,
that?
absolutely it does. And I think the other thing too was once the schedule came out and we knew we were going to play them twice, we spent time in spring football, we spent time in the summer, and then in fall camp, getting into our option pods and working that. So hopefully that stuff will help us.
How do you feel about playing something like that?
It's difficult. Been on both ends of that, so I think it's hard when you beat somebody the first time. Like, what do you do the second time, or vice versa? If you lose the first time, what do you? It's challenging. I did it at my old school. A lot of times we'd play somebody in the regular season and turn around and play them again in the playoffs. So I think it's that fine line of whether you came out on top or the bottom is not trying to get too tricky and overdo it, and more go back and look at like, hey, the little things we could have fixed to be better first time around. So yeah, it's challenging.
And what did you see about them defensively? Their game last week, the whole Northern Colorado
Yeah.
at that time, defense what really won that game.
Yeah, it is. They're playing really good on defense. The things that stick out, they're only giving up 66 yards a game rushing. They're only giving up 34. It's either 34 or 36% completion on 3rd downs, giving up 3rd downs. So they're really driven on the defensive line. They'll go out of an odd front, even front. They have 2 outside linebackers that are really, really good that have played a long time. They've defensive lineman number 90. They do a great job of moving him around so you can't get a beat in his pass rush. And then they're just really solid at linebacker, corner, and safety. You look, they played UTSA, which is a very good football team. Other than that, they've played really, really good all year, not giving up big plays.
Coach Kobe Clark, 5th all-time in receptions now. Tyrese White goes for 100 yards. You guys got a couple black players of the week. Seems like a lot of guys have really hit that stride. How important was that for you going into this week?
Yeah, I think it's important. Obviously, I said it all summer and all camp. We wanted to find our identity in those first 3 weeks. I think we have a pretty good idea of who that is, what that is, and what we're going to be good at and what we're not real good at, and hopefully we can continue to build off that. But real excited for Kobe. If you look at where he started as a walk-on in our program to where he is now, I love that kid. And, Tyrese, it's great to see him back. He really struggled last year with some health issues, non-COVID related. I'm just proud of him. He's back and healthy, and he's running really hard, and he's very selfless. We've gone from 2 tailbacks to 3 tailbacks this week really running, and then we've got a freshman who we think's pretty dynamic too, and we're going to work on different ways of getting him involved in special teams and in the offense.